Welcome to the 5% PT podcast. Today, our guest is Mr. Jamarcus Irving. Jamarcus, go ahead and introduce yourself.
I'm Jamarcus Irving, owner and trainer of Team Irving Fitness, based out of Laurel, Maryland. Thank you for having me.
All right. Thank you, sir. All right. So tell us about your educational background.
Well, I have a BS in Kinesiology with the emphasis in sports medicine. I graduated from Georgia Southern University in 2005. Right after that, I also have certifications as a firefighter EMT that I did for 8 years in Georgia before moving to the state of Maryland. And since then, I've been personal training solely and building my company. I also have a Crossfit Level 1 certification, along with a ACE certification in personal training. And I look forward to continuing furthering my educational platform.
All right. So going back to your undergrad degree, first, how did you choose your major and how did you go about choosing your undergrad university?
I chose my major mostly because I played sports growing up, and since I had a choice, or the choice was made for me rather when I got to college, either to continue a dream or to continue my education. I chose my education, and I wanted to stay in the sports arena. I always wanted to assist athletes train because I liked that aspect of working with athletes. And then Georgia Southern had a program that fitted and suited my needs.
Okay. Now, when you're saying you had to make a choice on continuing a dream, what exactly do you mean by that?
I mean, you grow up and you play. I played all three sports, football, baseball, basketball, and I'm a basketball lover. And you just know that some athletes aren't created equally. And you get to college and you learn that, man, I should have been working a little bit harder. But I always had education to fall back on. And very few athletes have that opportunity. So I chose the latter.
Okay. So going into college, did you know what exactly you needed to major in order to be what you wanted to be?
No, man. I actually didn't even know I was going to college until my freshman year in high school. I have an older sister. She has a doctorate of physical therapy. She lives in Georgia now, and we're 3 years apart. So when she went to her guidance counselor and they asked her about college, I was like, oh, I didn't know that was an option. But seeing her hustle and her grind and her achievements made me then want to go to college, and then watching things like Different World and things like that, looking at the college experience made me want to achieve more.
Okay. So starting that athletic training program, was there a process to get into it?
Yes. I think I'm a little bit seasoned now. I've been out of college for a little bit, but since graduating in 2005, I think I entered the program. It was a 2-year program. I had transferred from another university, or another college rather, into Georgia Southern. So I think the requirements were either a 3.0 or I think it was a 3.0 to enter the Georgia Southern Athletic Training Program. It was pretty rigorous, but you needed prerequisites and hours. So, I mean, it wasn't nothing that I couldn't do.
Right. So what was that process like getting into the program? Was it challenging? Did you have any support systems along the way?
I definitely had support systems because me and my sister graduated with the same degree. She also has a minor in exercise science, but having her, we actually entered the program at the same time. So it was, I wouldn't say it was easy, but you almost had a measuring stick,
Mm-hmm.
almost like a guide or something to achieve. But me and her have two different learning styles, so we never studied together and stuff like that. It's just weird.
Interesting. So
Yeah.
yeah, I bet that had to be kind of weird, but also encouraging to have your sister there with you. I don't think
Yeah.
I even knew that about you. Your sister was at Georgia Southern.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, what was your home environment like? What type of encouragement did you have there, or support did you have in the home?
Uh, I don't know. To tell you the truth, I've been talking to my mom more as I get older. I have twin boys of my own. I'm married now, so looking back, it was more of I come from a hardworking family. Not really. I'm first generation higher education. So me and my sister were the first ones to go to college or strive for higher education. Everyone else in my family are workers. So factory workers, floor plant workers. And I knew the work ethic of it, but I didn't know anything about what college had to offer or what
Gotcha.
challenges I would face. So just pure will and determination and ambition to get out of an environment that you only got to work a 9 to 5,
Hmm.
and to keep on pushing. That's pretty much it.
So after you matriculated through your program, you get to graduation. Do you have to do any internship or shadowing experiences?
Um, the Georgia Southern program, you were almost, I guess, it was almost like, dare I say, free labor in a sense.
What do you mean by
where,
that?
where you, I mean, it was a great experience in that you got to shadow other athletic trainers, other grad assistants that were in the athletic training program at Georgia Southern. And being undergrad, you went to training hours. So before practice training sessions where you stretch and ice athletes, tape ankles, get them ready for weight training in the morning, or you're going to school after that and then coming back training to the training room in the midday to make sure athletes either rehab their recovery injuries and get them ready for practice in the afternoon. And I think we had to get something like 150 hours of log time per semester.
Oh, wow.
So we actually, and it was, like I said, it was free, but we were learning on the job. So, I mean, it definitely worked where you got an opportunity to work with athletes and learn athletes' movements and
Right.
mobility, and see how that translates to performance on the field or the court. Uh, um, but then balancing schoolwork with that sometimes was challenging.
Wow. I can imagine. But looking back, I majored in exercise science while at Georgia Southern. But looking back for me, I kind of wish I had done the athletic training part of it because you got the hands-on experience. Although I think exercise science prepared me well for PT school, I just wish I
Mhm.
had that hands-on component and that first responder experience you get as being an athletic trainer. But
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can never, I guess, quantify the level of experience you can get with the hands-on or actually going to the games and being on the sideline or being on the bench and seeing things live and firsthand, seeing those injuries or those nicks, and then understanding why it happened, and then formulating the game plan while the game is how to pull that player out, how to rehab, how to retape ankles on the sideline and get those players back in. So that experience is well suited.
So were there pressures in that environment? You're treating college level athletes. Were you under any pressure to kind of get them back to the field in a certain amount of time?
Not necessarily. The weird thing is all the athletes were cool because I mean you're going to school right alongside of those athletes.
Okay.
So the rapport, the level of trust is already there. Now, you do have to build additional trust as you tape their ankles, because certain athletes are very particular about tape or ice. Certain athletes have superstitions where you can only have a certain type of Gatorade before the game. Your shoes have to be, the laces have to be right. You got to tape over the laces if you play football or something like that. But
Yeah.
Other than that, it was cool.
All right. All right. So take us to after graduation. So you graduate, you're starting to look for jobs. What was that like?
What was weird is my senior year, at that particular time, I was learning more about myself as an individual, but also learning more about what career paths the sports medicine platform Kinesiology can bring me. Not only I could definitely went along with you, since my sister is a doctor of physical therapy and followed that path. I could have just been a general athletic trainer, whether that's at a college or at a high school setting. I could have also went into, which was my choice. I wanted to be a physician assistant and go into orthopedics. And then, like, I like the rehab component, but also the critical thinking and diagnosis of injuries and helping athletes get back to the field. I thought was going to be my calling. But right before graduation, my girlfriend at the time, now my wife, found out we were having twins, and the trajectory of my life changed. Like, I needed a job.
Situation.
I needed a career quickly, and I actually had a opportunity to go to, which is weird while we live in Maryland. I had an opportunity to go to Brown University. Not Brown. What am I thinking? Morgan State University in Baltimore, which is a HBCU, and work with the athletic training program and pursue my career as a physician assistant. But I had to make money, man.
Yeah.
And provide for my family. So then I came back home to Georgia and looked for jobs, but then I was either overqualified for certain jobs and not enough work experience for athletic training jobs. And then I found myself doing part-time teaching and then personal training on the side for about 2 years. And then I fell into the fire department because at that particular time, I needed insurance for my family and for my newborn boys. And that was how it happened.
So did you feel a certain way, like you wanted a job in this particular profession? Did you ever feel like you were settling at all, or you're just doing what you feel like you needed to do?
I felt like I was doing what I needed to do.
Okay.
But also I had a knowledge base and a skill set that many people had at that particular time. And I was able to hone my skills with personal training, because balancing personal training along with getting a peek inside of the healthcare system, being a firefighter EMT, going inside of people's homes, seeing how people live, seeing their healthcare situations, only inspired me to continue to learn more. And the more I learned, the better I became a personal trainer. And I knew it was something that I could do. I just didn't have the financial tools to build something right out of the gate. And now, 15 years later, I have my own company and just spreading a culture to provide a level of healthcare and a level of preventative care to everybody.
So what was it about the living situations that you were noticing?
Just things we take for granted. Going up and down stairs, having to carry patients who were immobile, who people who suffer from diabetic injuries or illnesses, and knowing how preventative that could be if you focus on diet and nutrition along with regular exercise. And it just helped me understand that more people are out here hurting, but also it gave me an incentive to help as many people as I could.
So how long were you in the firefighter role?
I did it for 8 years.
All right. And as you were doing that, you say you were doing personal training on the side as well? All right.
Absolutely.
So how did you make that transition doing personal training while doing firefighting, and then transitioning full time into personal training?
I guess it was just a strong will and determination. Me and my wife wanted to achieve more, especially once we had newborn kids.
Yeah.
And she graduated from Georgia Southern as well. So I have family in Georgia. She's from Virginia. She has family in Maryland. So we knew early on that the educational system, the quality of life was better from Georgia to Maryland, especially trying to raise kids and provide them the greater opportunity. It was just easy to make the leap, basically like a leap of faith, man. She came up here before me without a job and a career. She was part-time temping in HR. And then she went to get her master's degree. And now she's a director of global talent acquisition for Lidl, which is a German engineered, a German manufactured grocery. And she said, pursue your dreams. And I always knew I was a good personal trainer. I always had good rapport with clients, building a platform in Georgia. And I was even more determined coming to Maryland because I knew nobody. No family. Well, I had her family, but I had no friends here. And just grinding, hustling, learning as much as I could from books, and just honing my skills on my body to become the best personal trainer that I could be.
Right. So it's one thing for someone to say stepping out on faith. It's another thing to actually do it. So What were you feeling internally as you were doing that?
Oh man, I think the first year after quitting, after leaving the fire department, and you got to understand, growing up in the South, man, to get what is a coveted job, a local government job with a pension, and see that career path. Like, I could have probably been a captain in the fire department by now, because I'm never going to settle to be just a basic employee.
Yeah.
I'm always going to choose the leadership option. And I was on track to be a lieutenant before I left. But just knowing something deep inside of you, there's more to you. And just trusting yourself and believing in yourself, but also having a support system to say, hey man, you can achieve your dreams if you go hard with it. And then seeing my sons and knowing that I wanted to provide a legacy for them, something that wasn't granted to me, was even more of a push to pursue greatness.
All right. Some good motivation behind you.
Yeah, man.
Did you have any mentorship as you were going along?
No, man. I always wanted mentorship, but never really found it. I always listened. Always, being raised in the South, you're told to be around but not be seen almost. So you pick up on cues. You're very observant. You watch. You listen to your elders. You're very respectable. But also understanding once you get to a certain age that everybody doesn't know everything. And sometimes the people you may have looked up to don't have a knowledge base that you have. And some of those people you gotta distance yourself from in order for you to grow. So I think leaving my family in Georgia, even though it was difficult, it was one of the best things for my career because I didn't have anything to fall back on. I had to trust in myself. I had to believe in myself. And then having my wife to support me and push me and motivate me to say, you can. That's why I'm here.
Yeah, that's pretty powerful, man.
Yeah.
Now, what did you do to kind of build your brand starting out?
Starting out, I mean, I guess you start out the way, I guess pretty much I assume pretty much every small business does. I moved to the area, I researched how much personal training costs in the area, how much going to local gyms, checking out the goals, checking out the Planet Fitnesses, checking out the lifetimes and building a rapport with those personal trainers, but also seeing the profit margin and setting my prices, trying to be within reasonable, but then trying to meet and mingle and network as much as you can. I was going to local parks and trying to pass out business cards. I was going to schools and PTA meetings, trying to meet parents. I even, on weekends, I would go set up a booth at GNC. Granted, it's weird that this is before the pandemic, but yeah, just sitting at a table all day, trying to meet as many people in a supplement store or going to vitamin shop and talking to people about supplements. I pretty much did everything you could do, blogging on the internet, trying to create a buzz, constantly wearing my t-shirts. My boys thought that, for the first year, I didn't wear any other clothes, man. I had Team Irving Fitness t-shirts that I would wear everywhere. I still wear Team Irving Fitness t-shirts to bed. I don't stay out of my merch because it constantly pushes me.
So what have you found has worked for you over the years? What's worked? What hasn't worked?
I guess what is most profound is just being true to you, being true to yourself, and knowing that even though I started off having boot camps. I remember having boot camps, putting up flyers, praying for people to come, and nobody would show up. And then I would still set up the boot camp, stay there, and just pray that soon people were going to come, and eventually people would show up, and we would have a good time. And just building a rapport and a relationship with people is really what I did. And I mean, clients came and clients went, but they understood once they left that I cared about their overall well-being. And I wanted them to be successful and healthy. Is really what built my clientele base here.
Okay. Now, you and I actually had a conversation last week. You're telling me that some of your patients are ones who've been through physical therapy and just kind of got frustrated with that process. Have you noticed a way that PTs and personal trainers can work together, or have you noticed a kind of a bad vibe between the two professions?
No, I've trained personal trainers. I mean, well, I've trained personal trainers too, but I've also trained physical therapists. I train orthopedic surgeons, and my dream is to have a standalone building where you have uh, uh, dietitians and physical therapists and personal trainers and orthopedic surgeons all in one place, so we can seamlessly work together to help people achieve, because there are so many stop gaps, whether people go to physical therapy, their insurance, or can only provide them so many visits, and they have to do their at-home health. But like very few people do their at-home exercises, and then they fall behind, and then they go back to work and they get re-injured, and they go back to PT, and they don't see. We all live in a fast society. We want results fast, and nothing happens overnight. And then sometimes they're not able to afford PT, but then personal training is something a little bit more economical, and I try to fill in the gaps the best way I can. But for the most part, I haven't seen any animosity between physical therapists and personal trainers. If anything, I've been recommended clients by physical therapists because they understand the allied healthcare profession. And with me having a background in kinesiology, sports medicine, there's a little bit of a transition between physical therapy and personal training.
No, I definitely agree with everything you just said. And I think a lot of patients in the Medicare system, they don't understand the limits in their insurance. As far as with PT, if you're not making steady progress according to their insurance, then they're going to cut you off at a certain point. And a lot of times people who are reviewing these cases aren't necessarily physical therapists. They could be in some other profession and not necessarily know the step-by-step process you might have to go through in order to achieve certain things. But no, I definitely appreciate how you work together with other professions and know that that relationship is important too.
Absolutely, man. My goal is to make people healthy. And I'm being a disservice if one of my clients come in. Like, I've recommended my clients to physical therapists because I'm like, I can't provide all of your needs, and your injuries supersede your goals as far as becoming physically fit as quickly and as fastly as you want. You're gonna have to get your injuries taken care of, and I can't balance between being a quasi that safe gap between the physical therapy and balancing your overall fitness and health. I need someone to take care of the injuries first, and then you can come back and we can get the body that you want.
So with that, what do you wish patients understood about personal training?
I would love for personal training to have a platform as I wouldn't say there's tiers. There's definitely educational tiers. I wouldn't put me on the same level as an orthopedic surgeon. I wouldn't even put myself on the same level as a doctor of physical therapy. But there is common knowledge that is shared, especially in my experience, since I have a background in kinesiology, that the educational gap is not that far. But for someone who just got a regular personal training certification with no 4-year degree, there is a larger gap to fill in. But for me, that personal trainers aren't just big bodybuilders. We're not just somebody in boot camps yelling at you. We're people trying to meet your desires, even though sometimes you don't know what it's going to take to get to your body. How much are you willing to sacrifice to get the body that you want? and I want to put people on the right path to achieve that.
I think you posted something recently that said something like the personal trainer sees the body that you want to have or something to that effect.
Yeah. I mean, like when you come in, I can already, with my educational background, I can see your gait. Are you walking heel to toe? Do you have a smooth transition? Do you have a limp? Is it in your hips that you're limping? Is it because of your knee? Are you able to heel strike and roll forward, or are you using more of a protected gait in your injury? So I already know that I have to fix that before we can do a proper squat. And I feel like in talking to other personal trainers, not very few personal trainers diagnose or look at the overall well-being of the client first, because I get a lot of clients who went to personal training who they created injuries because of the personal trainer, and then either they cut out personal training altogether because they had that bad experience, or they find me and they're like, man, like I wish I would have learned these body mechanics first and then go into squats and then go from body weight squats into back squats and the front squats, instead of just, certain personal trainers they think everybody's created equal, and personal training isn't monolithic. What works for somebody don't work for everybody.
True.
And in doing that, sometimes they create unnecessary injuries that other personal trainers or physical therapists have to repair.
Yeah. So speaking of that, looking at social media, seems like everybody's a personal trainer. So, so first, what do you think of that? Everybody wanting to jump into personal training, kind of like it's a fad. And then how does one go about distinguishing who's good and who's not?
I mean, that is the difficult thing about social media. Everyone has a newfound voice. Whether you, in my arena, it almost seems as if you have the right aesthetic, meaning you're pleasing to the eye, or you look the way someone wants to look, then you're just grandfathered in as a great trainer. They might not have the educational background, they might not have the experience, but since they look like you want to look,
right,
you fall victim into choosing them as a trainer, thinking that, I guess, their genetic makeup is going to inherently become you. And people, I think, also don't look at personal training, look into their educational background, and know that all personal trainers don't have the same background. I know personal trainers that have a weekend course and they get certified in a weekend, and then they're a personal trainer. Or you have other personal training certifications like Sports Medicine Academy or NASM or ISSA, that is a program where you go a year or 2 years, but it's not going to replace a 4-year degree, let alone does it replace, as a personal trainer, a lot of personal trainers, you don't have to get CEUs or continuing education credits to further your knowledge base. So you get a one-time certification and now you're certified forever. And you're a personal trainer, what looks like you're helping people on social media, but it almost feels as if you're only self-serving, and you're not really helping as many people as you possibly can, because personal training, like physical therapy, there is no standard.
Mm-hmm.
So you're at the mercy of whomever you choose as a civilian. So I would say do your research, but also try to get as many free attempts as you can. Like at Team Irving Fitness, I always offer fitness consultations. I want to meet the person, introduce myself to see if we're compatible first. from client to trainer, because sometimes we don't mesh. Sometimes either you have injuries that I say you need to go to physical therapy first, or we're not training, you're not ready to train, meaning you're not mentally dedicated to doing this.
Is that a hard conversation to have? Telling someone they're not ready to train?
Early on, it was, because I looked at it, I guess, like every trainer, man. You look at providing for your family first, and knowing that that's money you might be leaving off of your table. But at the end of the day, you want to do what's right. Yeah. And training someone just for money is not my goal. So if I provide a quality product at a reasonable price, I know the people will come back. And so far, I've been successful because of it.
All right. So tell us a little bit more about Team Irving Fitness.
Team Irving Fitness is a brainchild from, I guess, after talking to you, man. I didn't think I was that much of a dreamer, but like I said, growing up and seeing people in front of you is totally different than watching someone on TV and having aspirations to doing something else. Seeing someone in front of you is tangible. You can touch it. So only being around workers my whole life was like, all right, I know I can work. Let me get a good job.
Yeah.
Let me work that job for as long as I can. And then hopefully at the end of that career, be well enough to provide and take care of my family. And shifting that into, I guess, dreaming about what could be, dreaming about a legacy, dreaming about something bigger than yourself, is what led me to following my passion. And very few people, I guess, have an opportunity to live out their dreams, but also find something that they're passionate about and pursue it. A lot of people get stuck in regular jobs that they hope and wish they could get out of, but you got to pay the bills, man.
True. All right. So you told us about your vision for Team Irving Fitness. Are you taking steps to get there? And what are you doing to actually prepare yourself for that vision?
I guess my vision, I guess, would ultimately be provide a legacy for my two sons and having a strong structural foundation as a Black man, providing them opportunities that I didn't have for myself, leaving them something that very few of us get an opportunity to possess. That is your own business.
Mm-hmm.
And then I tell them all the time to, if this is not something that you want to do, then I want to build it big enough where you can sell it and profit off of it. But if you choose to follow in my footsteps, then you have a platform that very few people have.
Yeah.
And just chasing something bigger than yourself, man. Like, I dream bigger than Team Irving Fitness now. Like, I want to help as many people be as healthy as possible for as long as possible. And I drive myself to obtain that and live vicariously through that. So I'm trying to be as healthy, as strong, as rich as a person as I can be. And I want to instill that in every client that I see.
All right.
So
I want to kind of go back and touch on how you had to either pivot or make some changes with COVID. And then talk a little bit more about you and your relationship with your boys, then what you kind of instilling in them, especially during this climate with everything going on now. So yeah, going
Okay.
back to COVID, what did you have to do, or how did you have to transition during that time frame, or during
Oh
this
man.
time frame, I should say?
I mean, COVID almost was like a restart, but the same way I felt when I first came to Maryland in 2012 to start my own business, and not know what direction I was going in. And that's the same way I felt when COVID happened, uh, because of the unknown. Uh, Gyms were one of the first things to close
Right.
initially in the pandemic, right after kids uh, uh, transitioned out of school and started doing online learning. So my business really went to nothing. Uh, and then almost being like you're in my studio now, which is my garage. I'm thankful. I'm very thankful that my studio was my garage, because if I had a brick and mortar building, uh, which I was looking at purchasing a year before the pandemic hit, that if I had purchased a building, I would probably be bankrupt
Wow.
right now financially. But I mean, just being blessed enough to have enough vision to be like, I'm not gonna get the brick and mortar building. I'm gonna buy a house big enough to build a studio within my house. Ultimately, save my business, but still not having people come through the doors was still difficult, because people didn't know how close to be, or do you wear masks when you work out, or do you wipe down all the equipment? So all the unknown things initially forced me to be like, all right, if my is this it of my business, but have I given everything that I can in my business? So I went more online, more virtual classes, uh, and building a platform uh, more streamlined and more conducive to where people were in their homes, and building a strong foundation of Team Irving Fitness through social media, ultimately saved my business. It also saved my mind, because I was going crazy, just sitting at the house thinking about, I don't know if you made the right move, man.
Wow.
Uh, but through just perseverance and dedication, and being like, I can't let this overwhelm me, overcome me. It just made me be a better trainer.
Okay.
Just
Now, did you
better business.
transition to doing more online type things too?
Absolutely. We do I do virtual stretching now. I do which a lot of people sleep on, but a lot of people don't understand that stretching can help so many people, man. I beg people every day to stretch. If that's one takeaway you get from this podcast, I hope everybody listens, and everybody stretch, man. Everybody's tight. Uh, Everybody's anxious during this pandemic, so you're carrying more stress and more anxiety than you
Yeah.
think, and it's getting trapped in your body, and it hinders your performance. Uh, but yeah, between online stretching and then group training like boot camps, I have a few husband and wife teams that log on, and we do training together, or a lot of kids who are out of sports and siblings who live in the same house doing sports performance training virtually, um, or just basic generalized personal training virtually has been a game changer. But I never, I don't know, I guess switching from on-site in-person training to virtual training, I never thought, uh, I never knew that it would make me be a better trainer, but it
In
has
what
been.
way? Why do you say that?
Because certain cues and certain ways you have to manipulate the camera or view a body angle
Gotcha.
changes, and you get to look at the body from a different perspective through virtual training. and the cues that work in person might not work virtually.
Yeah.
So then learning just overall body mechanics again through a camera lens, and then having to cue people for them to understand it, made me an overall better trainer, because not only can I do it virtually now pretty seamlessly, but understanding those cues helped me teach people better in person.
All right. I can get with
And
that.
then everything virtually, a lot of people didn't have equipment during the pandemic. So going back to basics,
Yeah.
body mechanics, teaching people how to squat, how to lunge, how to push up, how to plank. Yeah. And then understanding, going back into my education, and then transitioning that to in-person training has been a huge boost for not only myself, but for my business.
All right. Now, how do you balance work and home life?
Dare I say, you really don't.
Okay.
I mean, you really never find balance. I mean, it's a constant juggling act. I mean, me being me, I try to do the best I can every single day when I wake up, but balancing, my teenage boys now, with them being the first year in high school in a virtual platform, it has been challenging, but gratifying, because I get to see my boys every day.
Yeah.
And I never thought how cool that would be. But I also understand that I get on their nerves and they need their distance. I never thought having my wife work from home, and the at-home challenges or duties that sometimes change, whether I'm cooking or she's cooking, or I'm cleaning and she's cleaning. Everything has been thrown out of sequence through the pandemic, but we've been making it work the best we can. And then, I mean, I grew up in the South again. I'm gonna say it. I have a yard now. I got to cut the grass in between clients, pressure washing the house in between clients. I mean, my home is my business.
Right.
So understanding the aesthetics of someone coming to your home, which is also a business, is sometimes overwhelming, but you want to present, I guess, the best of you.
Yeah.
And when people pull up on the outside of my house, they gotta look right.
True.
So I can't have a filthy looking house on the outside and then you think this gym is gonna look amazing on the inside. So it has to look the part, man.
Now, do you mind talking about your boys a little bit?
Yeah.
All right. So like you said, you have 2 teenage sons.
Yep.
Now, with everything that we've seen going on throughout the country recently over the last few years, how are you preparing them as a Black male?
I mean, we talk every single day. I think that's a gift and a curse, because now, as they're becoming teenagers, you become uncool as a dad. You know what I mean? So I used to be awesome at everything. Now I'm like, I'm not as cool as their friends or what they're watching on TV or what they're listening to as far as music. But they've been fortunate enough to almost, I guess, have the hope, because they were born when they got to see President Barack Obama be in office twice.
Mm-hmm.
So something that I never seen, something that my grandparents never seen, something that my great-grandparents never even dreamed of, that there would be a Black president. And seeing that and instilling those values, that if you work hard and you dream, that you can achieve the presidency. But then also knowing that they're also killing young Black men. So we've been talking about Trayvon Martin from an early age on to the laundry list of unarmed Black men that were shot by the police. And now as they encroach on 16, knowing that they're going to be leaving the house and driving, and the angst and the anxiety of that sometimes is overwhelming, but just instilling certain morality, certain integrity, certain characters within those boys, I think they're going to handle it well. I think they've been well prepared, and you can only continue to pray.
Yeah. Well, they have a great mother and father, so I'm sure they'll be all right out there.
I mean, we've been trying to do the best we can, man. Kids raising kids is crazy.
You guys have done a great job with those young men.
If you would have told me in 2005 that I was going to have twin boys after graduating from Georgia Southern, I would have lost my mind. I still lose my mind. It's crazy, man.
No, you held it together well, man. But how can we find you on social media?
Social media, Team Irving Fitness. You can always go to my website, teamirvingfitness.com. My wife is going to go crazy because I said .com, so I'm old now. But I did say the www with it, so I guess I'm good. Yeah, teamirvingfitness.com, and all my social media is on there. Team Irving Fitness at Instagram, Team Irving Fitness at Facebook, or Jamarcus Irving. Everything is linked. I live my business. I mean, I am my business. So I might as well live the life that I say I want other people to live, to be healthy and be good people.
All right. Now, are you taking new clients?
Absolutely.
Is that both virtual and in person?
Absolutely. We can train right now if you
want. All right. So just let everybody know you are taking clients, virtual and in person.
Actually, you were one of my first.
Really?
Dare I say, even though it wasn't virtual, like even though it was an online platform, you had recently moved to Houston, and you asked me for a training program.
I still use parts of that program to this day.
Yeah, man. And I wrote that program. And before this podcast, I was looking on the jump drive that I had it saved to. And I've created, since beginning in 2000, I just used to create programs. I probably have maybe 4 or 5 programs written in 2012, 2013 that I thought I lost.
Really?
And I think I'm going to put those on the website as well, because I, like I said, I didn't even know they were there. I thought those workouts were somewhere else. I had lost all that information, but I was like, man, I still got all these workouts.
See, so look at that, man.
I appreciate you asking me for a workout plan, because who knew we were going to be in a pandemic 8 years later, and those workouts are still valid, still great information, and those workouts can help a lot of people. So those will be on the website as well. I have a free nutritional plan on the website under specials to get the conversation started, because everyone needs to learn, in my opinion, how to eat correctly, portion sizes, how frequently you should eat. And everybody knows you can't outwork a diet, or you can't outtrain a poor diet, rather. And balancing healthcare along with fitness and nutrition is the best way to go.
All right. And last question, are you open to mentoring?
Absolutely. Like, I always wanted to mentor, and as I became a father, like I said, a more seasoned man, I got a little gray on me now, that I wanted to provide an opportunity to give that back, because the information is free.
Yeah.
What you do with the information is totally up to you. So I have a clientele base that I've had clients bring in their sons and be like, dude, man, your mom is working 2 jobs and doing personal training. Don't you see her hustle? You should work harder, put in that work, just like your mother is putting in that work. Or talk to the daughters and be like, encourage young Black girls to see their mothers work on the body that they desire instead of necessarily paying for the body that they desire. And working and striving to see it, because in our teenage years, we don't think what 30 is going to look like. We don't think about our bodies. But if we don't take care of our bodies younger in life, then our bodies may fail.
Right.
And we don't know what that's going to look like. So why not be as healthy as you can be for as long as you can be?
I don't know.
So, sure, I'll be a mentor.
All right. Well, Mr. Irving, thank you for joining me tonight. Thank you guys for tuning in to the 5% PT podcast. Catch you next episode.